This is the 2 power n program, that for how many time we or the user want to multiply 2. Yes, 2. So n shall be the user defined variable while 2 is the constant. Okay, so we will input this in from the user. We will save the result of each multiplication in the result variable, and we will control our our counter, our for loop with variable n. So initially n will be equal to 1, and it shall not exceed, the value of n shall not exceed the value of number. Okay, so loop will be started from n up till this number, and the result will be saved in the of the multiplication in variable result. So in similar way, we have asked the user, we have a initialized result with 1, and the loop statement you can see here, this is single line, so for loop statement, initialization, the conditional statement, and the update statement. Okay, so execution will start from here, then will come here, it will check the condition, and then the execution will come to the body of the loop. This is the body, and then update statement will execute, and then again the condition will be executed, and in similar way from the condition you will see that condition execution comes to the body, and from body to the update statement. So this is the whole phenomena of the loop. So the logic behind this loop is, in each iteration we are going to multiply the result of 2. For example, we want to see 2 power 4. So 4 is the user input value, while 2 is constant. So what does it mean? It means that 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 and multiplied by 2. Okay, so what should be the answer of this multiplication? So initially we will perform multiplication of the first 2's. This is 2 multiplied by 2 is equal to 4, and we will borrow this 2 from that statement. Okay, multiply by 2 multiply by 2. Then we will multiply this statement, 4 multiplied by 2, so it will be equal to 8, and we will borrow this 2 from that statement, and then we will multiply 8 with 2. This is 16. Okay, so this is the answer. So what we have done, actually, we have splitted this problem into small problems, into sub problems, and the sub problem has been solved, giving the result, and that result is again multiplied with the sub problem 2, and we have solved this sub problem, which results into 8, and that 8 is multiplied again with a sub problem, and we get the final result, this one. Okay, so what we are doing in each iteration, we are actually multiplying the result with next 2, the result with next 2, the result, and there is no next 2 because we have stopped the iteration here. So this is the whole phenomena of how we can split the problem into sub problems and conquer that problem to solve it in a whole. We get the whole solution for that problem. Okay, so this is the C out statement at the last, when the for loop becomes false. So we will see that C out statement will be executed. Let's see another example. So this is the example for the summation. Actually, here you can see that initialization has been controlled by the user. Okay, so, and list size is a variable of integer type, you can see here. Okay, so this list size, this is the initialization of the variable n. We will use the input from the variable as initialization for initialization purposes in the initialization statement here in the for loop. So n is equal to list size, then the terminator, and n shall be greater than 0 and n minus minus. So this is the decrement operator. Okay, so for example, if the list size is equal to 4. So it means that n will be equal to 4. Okay, n will be equal to 4. And we are performing the decrement operator. So in each iteration, the value of n will be decremented. So n is initially 4, then n will be equal to 3, then n will be equal to 2, then n will be equal to 1, and then n will be equal to 0. So at this stage, you can see, at this stage, if when n becomes 0, so 0 is greater than 0, so condition will become false, and the for loop will be terminated and execution will come to the F statement. Okay. So this is the F statement for syntax, and if list size is greater than 0, then we can find the average of the numbers in the list. Okay, so we already know that how many numbers have been inputted by the user and what is the sum of those values in the list size. So here you can see we have already performed summation on all the values input by the user. Then we will, we can easily print the average as well. Okay, so this program actually printed out the average of user defined numbers. So if user want to find out the average of four numbers, so user shall input the list size as 4. We are asking here from the user how many inputs you want to input into the in the list. Okay, so if user want to find out the average of 10 numbers, so the user shall enter 10 as list size in the program in your software, and then we will ask the user, here the program will ask the user to input 10 times values, 10 times values in first iteration, second iteration, third. So our loop is actually being controlled by the variable list size. Okay, list size. Okay, so this is another program. This is the make sure. Okay, make sure that there is a statement that will eventually stop the loop. Yes, this is necessary, that your loop must be finite. It should not be infinite. Otherwise, there will be no logic behind that infinite, and your resources will be wasting while in usage of the, the processor and the memories and your screen and many other resources will be stuck with the program. So therefore, we need the finite loops. Okay, finite loop. So it all depends on the conditional statement. Even conditional statement, it depends on the conditional statement as well. This one, okay, it also depends on initialization. It also depends on the condition. It also depends on the update statement as well. So give me one of the example is that if you initialize with I is equal to 0, and here you put the condition if I is greater than 0, okay, and I plus plus. So what will happen? This body will execute forever. Okay, because initially, initialize it with 1. Okay, initially the condition will become true, which is 1 is greater than 0. Yes, the body will execute and the condition, updation will be performed. So 0 will become 1 here in the I plus plus, 2 here in the I plus plus. So 2 is greater than or greater than 0. Yes, again the body will execute and then update will be performed. From 2 it will become 3, and then 3 is greater than or greater than 0. Yes, and this will be performed, and then it will become 4. 4 is greater than 0. Yes, and so on and so forth. So all the positive integers are greater than 0. So it means that the that this program will execute forever. Okay, when it reaches to the maximum limit of the integer, so then then the execution will probably be stopped. Okay. However, in our case here we can see that there is no limit logically being provided in this for this for loop. Okay, so this is the another problem is off by one. Off by one means that you shall be very careful in the initialization. Okay, in initialization purposes, in the introducing the relational as well. So here in the first loop, we can see that this statement, this for loop will execute for how many times? For n minus 1 time. Okay, this is n and less than n, so it is n minus 1 time this will execute. While we have initialized it with 0, this is less than or equal to n, so it will start from 0 till n. Okay, so this loop will execute for n plus 1 times. Okay, so you must be very careful in the declaration as well as initialization as well as in the conditional statement. Because these these semantics and logics will affect the number of the iterations. So number of iteration may be less than the n or even greater than the n. So this is why it is called off by one problem in the for loop statement. So your logics shall be very clear. Now increment and decrement operator, so we already know that what is meant by the increment and decrement operator. Okay, so let's see some examples here. Here we can see k is equal to 1 and comma j, so k is being assigned with 1 while j is assigned with no value. So we want to perform this operation, j is equal to plus plus k. So first k increased by 1 becomes 2. So here you can see this is known as the prefix increment for the k. So first the pre-increment will be performed by k and then the value will be assigned to j. So it was 1, now it will become 2 and 2 will be assigned to j and j is assigned to 2. Here you can see in the comments. Now k is equal to 3. Okay, so we initialize k with 3 here and see out plus plus k. First k is increased by 1, it becomes 4 and you will see the output on the screen as 4. So it is the prefix increment concept for the increment operator. Okay. Now this is the post increment and you will see the difference here. The same concept has been introduced here for the declaration initialization. And here we can see a bit difference of the post increment operator, j is equal to k plus plus. So what will happen that first value will be assigned to j and then the value will be updated with the increment. Okay, so what was the value of k? K was actually 1, so 1 will be assigned to j and this is you can see in the increment, and then the k will be updated, so k is increased by 1 becomes 2. So in this case j will be equal to 1, k will be equal to 2. Here you can see k is equal to 3, another initialization, see out k plus plus. Okay, so we will see the value of k first on the screen and then the processor will execute the post increment portion of the increment operator. Okay, so the after incrementation of the value of k, we will not be able to see the value unless and until you introduce another cout statement k, then you will see the difference of the values in the k. Okay, this is the decrement operator. It's same concept, but it decrement the value of variable with 1. This is the that was the, this is the prefix decrement, this is the post decrement operator. Okay, so this is a small program that how the increment and decrement operator works, and you can see the results of each statement in the comment as well. You can try it in your home. And we have finished with our presentation, and the same programs are being implemented here. The factorial is here. This program is for factorial purposes using the for loop. Here you can see for loop statement. Okay, and here we have introduced the three variables: the number, the factorial, and counter. We are putting a message on the screen. We are saving the input from the user, initialization of the variable, and this is the for statement with some comments. Okay, and the result is now printed on the screen. Here you can see. Okay, if you execute and run this program, so you will see the result on the screen. So actually we need to input a value to this. Now this is the average to find out the average of the list. So let's see how this program works. So how many inputs numbers? So I want to find out the result of the average of 5 numbers. Okay, input. So please enter the 5 input numbers. Okay, I input the let's see, 3, enter 6, enter 9, enter 7. How many numbers I have input? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then enter 3 again, and then enter. So 5.6 is the average of all these numbers. So the loop has been controlled by the input of the user. So again, this loop is executed how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Okay. So let's see another run of this example. I want to give to find out the average of 8 numbers. Now the loop will execute 8 times. Okay. So 2, 5, 8, 3, 6, 69, 7, 4, and 21. So the average is 14.875. You can see here the value. It means that we have actually controlled the loop by inputting the variable, the value from the user. Okay. So this is one of the logic. This program is being introduced for the 2 power n. So it's very simple. You just need to put this formula in the for loop. The rest is very similar to the programs which we have seen in our while and do while loop. Okay, you can also practice it in on your IDEs. You can stop the video here and just looking to this program. You can copy it. You can write it in your Dev C++ or any other IDE, and you can practice it with this program. Okay. So this was the whole concept of the for loop that we actually can introduce. And in the next lecture, we will try to use some nested for loop statements, and we will also try to some other examples like printing the table and printing some patterns with the for loop as well. Okay, so see you in the next lecture. Hope so.